Good afternoon and welcome back to the WEFTEC Live Studio. I'm your host, Steve Spicer. We are here this afternoon to talk about Operations Challenge. I'm joined here by Jeff Sober, who is the chair of the Operations Challenge community, as well as the Director of Water Services for Garver. I know, yesterday there was a great event, and Monday, and last night there was a fantastic award ceremony. Right before we get into who won, can you give us a brief description of what Operations Challenge is and what it means?
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Operations Challenge on the surface is a skills competition. Some of us like to refer to it as the Wastewater Olympics. So you have teams from across the country and other foreign nations, 55 of them, competing in 5 unique events. And they're trying to do this as fast as possible. They're trying to do this with the least amount of penalties, and they're trying to prove that they're number one in their utility and in the water and wastewater industry.
And it's also one of the most exciting things on the expo floor, right? I mean, you can hear the noise all over the place, and you can hear the cheers as well.
Absolutely. I think it draws a crowd. It's one of the best parts of WEFTEC.
So tell us who won.
All right. So we operate the competition with 3 divisions. And the 3rd division had 22 teams competing in it, including our foreign teams. And the first place winner of Division 3 was from the member association from the Pacific Northwest. And that team is called the Poopa Troopers. In Division 2, our winner was from the Water Environment Association of Ontario, the Sludgehammers. And in the premier Division 1, the Water Environment Association of South Carolina, Controlled Chaos, took first place overall for the competition.
Fantastic. I will say one of the things that is fantastic is the names. The thing that might be better than the names are the amazing uniforms and the amazing helmets that the teams always wear.
Absolutely. In fact, we give out awards for best hard hat, best photo, best team name as well, because they're pretty funny and unique to each team.
And I will say, for those folks watching online, at weftec.org/now, if you go there, you can find a full news article that has all the winners and all of the Spirit Award winners as well as full descriptions of each of the events. This is also a record-breaking year, right?
It was, yeah. This year, we decided that we would advance the field to try to get as many teams as possible in. And so last year, we competed with around 44 teams. This year, we had 55 teams come to the competition. And of course, these teams have to compete at a regional event to earn their spot to come compete at a national event. So our ability to increase the size of the competition here allows other MAs and more teams within those MAs to get involved in this program, which is our goal. We want to grow the competition and grow what the Operations Challenge community means to our industry.
Fantastic. And we also had international teams this year. I think there were teams from the UK, Finland, Canada. I had to write these down because I forgot all of them before. Denmark, Germany, and I'm missing one, Colombia.
That's correct, yeah. And those teams are so much fun because they don't do a regional competition back home. And so they're usually coming in without having ever run these specific 5 events before. And they come in with their team ahead of time. They train before the competition, like 2 days before the competition, and then they just give it their best effort. And these folks are usually some of the most fun, the most exciting, and the loudest competitors to be around.
That's great. And I know, so we have 55 teams that there's 4 on a team?
That's correct, yeah. A team typically has 4 competitors. The team is representing most times a specific utility, sometimes a member association. The team makeup will have folks from operations. It might be a maintenance person. It might be a chemist or a laboratory professional or an instrument tech. It could be someone on the engineering or administration side, but folks within the utility that come together to put together their best effort in 5 events, which are a broad range of skills and professional expertise that's needed. The team will also typically have a coach and an alternate coming to this event as well.
So we have now 6 people basically representing each team, plus there are judges and there are volunteers who work behind the scenes. How many people in total do you think this year alone were at Operations Challenge?
I can tell you, I think it's one of the largest events that's thrown here at WEFTEC with the 55 teams and all the judges. We had close to 800 people involved in the competition in some effort, and last night at that award ceremony, which was just an incredible event, we had about 800 people in attendance there as well.
For those of you who don't know, that's also one of the best parties at WEFTEC, hands down, for sure. We've talked a lot about this as a competition, but I think you have a special definition of your own that you use to describe Operations Challenge. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for asking. I mean, on the surface, it's skills competition, right? The teams are competing to see who can cut pipe the fastest. They're running laboratory tests. You're going to see people going into a confined space entry and pulling out a dummy and simulating some real-life events, changing pump impellers. So it looks like the wastewater Olympics. But Operations Challenge is so much more than that. The heart of the program is workforce development. It's a training program. And the history and story, or the legacy that we're leaving in the Operations Challenge program, is that we're showing people that this is a professional industry. Not just externally, which is always one of our goals, but internally to the industry, to take folks that may be on the periphery, that are uncertain what a job at a wastewater treatment plant may mean, and educate them and train them that this is a career, a professional career, where they can come in, and within the operations community specifically, they'll have the opportunity for additional networking. They'll have opportunity for leadership skills development. They'll have opportunity for advancement in their individual licensings and whatever their field of expertise is. And we have an amazing, wonderful history of folks coming into the program at lower levels within a utility and advancing to become executives and management of their utilities and leading the industry in important positions within WEF and other associations.
That is fantastic. I guess we have to ask now, how do I get involved if I want to be part of this?
We'd love to get as many teams involved as we can. So to get a team together, it starts at a utility or a member association. There's really 2 barriers to entry. You need a group within a utility that wants to actually compete, 4 to 5, 6 competitors that are willing to put aside the time, because it's a lot of effort. These folks go through weeks and weeks of training to prepare for this competition. You also need a utility that understands the workforce development and training aspect and is willing to invest the time and the money. And so our job is to educate folks on what all that means and then bring them together and sign them up. And the best way for them to get involved would be to check out our Operations Challenge webpage on both WEF, and we host an additional resource page on the Rocky Mountain Water Environment Association website. There's contact information for our entire committee there. We'd love to talk to anyone that would be interested in putting together a team. And most likely we would want to invite you to one of the many regional competitions that occurs throughout the year so you can get a taste of what it is.
That is fantastic. And you said those regional competitions run from...
We start, our first regional competition will be in South Carolina in March, and then in April we'll have Florida and Texas, and there's many other that follow throughout the year where Operations Challenge events are held as regional qualifiers to find which teams are going to join us next year in New Orleans.
All right, and maybe next year we'll have more than 55, who knows?
That's the goal. We're going to try to push above 60, if at all possible, and get as many teams there as we can.
Fantastic. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us here today. And everybody at home, thank you for watching WEFTEC Live. Good night.